tensions are skyrocketing in Venezuela as the United States seizes a plane allegedly purchased illegally by Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro, found in the Dominican Republic and now brought to South Florida. This move by the U.S. has many wondering. Is this a sign that the U.S. is closing in on Maduro? And to make matters even more chaotic, Venezuela is now embroiled in a political crisis as a judge issues an arrest warrant for the presidential candidate challenging Maduro's authority. Let's dive into the details of what's happening in Venezuela and what the future holds for the embattled nation.
In a statement Monday, Attorney General Merrick Garland said, quote, "The Justice Department seized an aircraft we allege was illegally purchased for $13 million through a shell company and smuggled out of the U.S. for use by Nicolás Maduro and his cronies. The jet in question has been transported from the Dominican Republic to Florida."
According to officials that I spoke to, what's very interesting about this is that this plane is essentially considered, by all intents and purposes, Venezuela's Air Force One. This is how Nicolás Maduro got around in his state visits since May of 2023. The aircraft was purchased in late 2022, early 2023, according to U.S. officials. Then beginning May of last year is when Maduro started using it regularly for his state visits.
The United States has just made a bold move by seizing a plane linked to Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. The plane, which was discovered in the Dominican Republic, has been brought to South Florida, with U.S. authorities claiming that it was purchased illegally. This is a significant development as it shows the U.S. is actively looking for ways to undermine Maduro's regime without directly confronting him. The question now is whether this seizure is just the beginning of a larger strategy to destabilize Maduro's hold on power.
We have a long-standing history of investigating the corrupt practices of the Maduro regime. HSI and its partners have already disrupted over $2 billion worth of assets. We've indicted over 30 regime members, associates, and facilitators. So again, we're always continuing to look at the opportunities in which the Maduro regime is continuing to facilitate its corrupt practices.
Some experts believe this could be a precursor to more aggressive actions by the U.S. against Maduro, especially as Venezuela continues to struggle with internal strife and international isolation. Could this plane seizure be the first step in a larger plan to bring Maduro down? As if the plane seizure wasn't enough, Venezuela is also dealing with a major political crisis. A judge has issued an arrest warrant for the presidential candidate who has been openly challenging Maduro's legitimacy. The candidate, who claims that Maduro committed election fraud, has been gaining support both domestically and internationally. However, this has also put him in the crosshairs of Maduro's government.
Charged with conspiracy, falsifying documents, and usurping powers, Venezuela's main opposition figure, the country's elected president in the eyes of many, is now a wanted man, to the delight of self-proclaimed President Nicolás Maduro.
This cowardly man, González Urrutia, he doesn't recognize the law. He recognizes nothing.
In hiding since the presidential elections of late July, which he and his supporters believe he won, authorities requested the warrant after he ignored 3 summonses to answer prosecutors' questions. Tally sheets of votes produced automatically by polling machines were not published by the National Electoral Council as they usually would be, as the body claimed it had been subject to a hack, but they nevertheless proclaimed the incumbent victorious.
The arrest warrant has sparked outrage among the candidate's supporters, who see this as a clear attempt by Maduro to silence his opposition and tighten his grip on power. The situation is so volatile that it has led to widespread protests and clashes between security forces and demonstrators. The country is on the brink of a civil war, with international players like China and Russia backing Maduro, while others call for his ouster. Venezuela is rapidly becoming one of the most unstable countries in the world. with Maduro's government under increasing pressure from both domestic opposition and international sanctions, the future of the country is anything but certain. The plane seizure by the U.S. and the arrest warrant for Maduro's rival are just the latest in a series of events that could lead to a significant shift in power.
Justice Department goes on to say the plane was illegally exported in April of 2023 from the United States to Venezuela via the Caribbean. So what, this is all just about violation of U.S. sanctions? This wasn't done to send a message to Maduro to, hit him where it really hurts, or was it a bit of both?
Well, it's all about the timing. And quite frankly, the Biden administration has been looking for ways, symbolic as well as some significant ways, that they can send a message to Caracas. And by taking Maduro's plane, I think they have achieved a small modicum of that message, to say, symbolically, but also, for a head of state not to be able to fly around in their own private jet with all of the, John, I was looking at some of the features this jet has earlier on today. It's going to be a little bit less comfortable for Maduro on his next flight abroad.
Will the U.S. continue to find ways to undermine Maduro, eventually leading to his downfall? Or will Maduro manage to hold on to power with the backing of powerful allies like China and Russia? One thing is clear: Venezuela is a country in crisis, and the world is watching closely to see what happens next. The U.S. seizing Maduro's plane is a calculated move that signals a shift in how the U.S. is dealing with Venezuela. Instead of direct confrontation, the U.S. is using strategic actions to weaken Maduro's position. Meanwhile, the political chaos in Venezuela is reaching a boiling point. What do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Maduro, or will he find a way to hold on to power?
So I guess that's my first question. Why was the U.S. able to seize this plane? What authority do they have?
Sure. Good morning, Anne-Marie. Well, key to the success of this operation was moves by the authorities in the Dominican Republic, who were the ones who accommodated a U.S. request to immobilize the plane while it was on DR's territory. Now, American officials have said that the plane was flown there for service, and that's what opened the door to this opportunity to seize it and now fly it to Florida. The Justice Department said that it had been purchased illegally using a shell company based in the Caribbean and was, as you mentioned, in violation of U.S. sanctions and export control laws. And that even though it doesn't have Maduro's name explicitly associated with it, they knew that the plane was being flown pretty much exclusively to and from a military base in Venezuela. In a statement yesterday, White House officials said that this was a message being sent to Maduro that he needs to feel the consequences from his misgovernance in Venezuela.
What are your thoughts on the U.S. seizing Maduro's plane and the arrest warrant for his rival? Is Venezuela on the brink of a major political shift, or will Maduro manage to survive this latest crisis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates from What's the Gossip. Stay tuned for more breaking stories.